I want to reflect on the most important cultural moment of the last 40 years. Of course, I'm talking about Renaissance, Beyoncé's most recent album. Specifically, though, the moment I'm talking about is one particular track, Break My Soul. It's an anthem about surviving and even thriving in a world that isn't made for you. I am a survivor of a world not made for me. Now, how do I know that it wasn't made for me? I burned out. For 2 decades, I committed to a career that motivated me and inspired me and damn near killed me. I started as a high school theology and world religions teacher and campus minister, and I pursued a career as a leader and administrator in Catholic schools. I was proud of my work, and I was a good teacher. I really cared about my students and the community that we could build. If there was one through line throughout all of my work, it was creating safe spaces and transformational moments for my students and my colleagues. The cherry on top was the fact that I could give the church a different and more inclusive face. I could be for my students what I never had. Someone like me who showed me it was okay to be me, that I had a place there, that I was more important than history, tradition, rules, or outdated moral constructs. But then I saw Dan Savage talk about the It Gets Better project, which aims to send the message to It Gets Better to kids struggling because their sexual or gender identities made it unsafe for them to be their fullest selves at school, out in the world, or even at home. When asked what advice would he give to a teacher who wanted to support queer students but couldn't be out herself because of her school's religious identity, Dan's response shattered me. You probably think that being there sends kids the message that they're not alone, he said. But the message you're actually sending is that it's okay to leave part of yourself at the door on the way into work. I took a year off, and with distance, I realized I had built a career of making safe spaces for others, but never had one for myself. I returned to my first love, ritual. And my work is now focused on creating different kinds of safe spaces and transformative moments that make people really happy. But I work from a safe space too. I draw on my unique mix of experiences and expertise to make the process meaningful. And I tell couples that a wedding is an opportunity to change the world by creating a wedding that reflects their experiences, identities, and values. They can give the people they love a different idea about what a wedding can be, and that creates a ripple effect, hopefully toward creating a world where our practices and institutions look like us, not where we continue to conform to old structures. We often confuse resilience with self-reliance. The word resilience doesn't point to independence or isolation, and it certainly doesn't mean strong, invulnerable, callous. The word itself points to bouncing back, but bouncing back to what? To the same old, to the same practices and ideas that got us here in the first place. So if we want to break the cycle, maybe we should think about resilience as a bouncing toward. But toward what? Well, that's the question of values. So start with this. What is the world you want to live in? I want to live in a world where empathy is the starting point for building relationships and responding to others' needs and making decisions. I want people to be authentic, to be able to name what they need or desire and bring forward their expertise and experience without fear of judgment, reprisal, or manipulation. So how do we go about building that world? The starting point for change isn't just the structures or the institutions around us, it's us. And as much as I love recreating the wheel, there are examples out there of people doing it. People building work around their lives and creating professional spaces that promote resilience, all towards shaping a world that they want to live in. Now, a note on privilege. I've been able to make this professional transition because I could afford to do it, and because my husband has amazing health insurance through his job. I'm also white, cisgender, and educated. While I experience discrimination and hatred because of my sexual identity, I still enjoy a whole lot of privilege in this world. Our reality is that most people are stuck in the world of standardization without the kind of access, stability, and supportive personal networks that we enjoy. Most folks depend on traditional models of work for access to things like, food, shelter, healthcare. So they depend on their leaders to make those changes. And they depend on many of you. All the more reason for you to keep asking the question, what is the world that you want to live in? And what choices will you make to bring that world to life?